Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Okay, it's been a while since we talked about Shannon Sharpe, right? It's been a while. Last time I spoke about Shannon was when that news came out with that lawsuit and all of that. The same way everybody spoke about him. But we used to talk about Shannon a lot more when he was on FS1. We spoke about him when he was on ESPN First Take. But then I unsubscribed from a lot of his content because I wasn't a fan of some of the antics that was going on. So I generally don't know what's going on over there with Shannon. Sometimes I'll see his shows after an NBA game, like a playoff game. He'll be going live with somebody I usually don't watch, right? So I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are people I listen to, there are people I don't really listen to, and it just is what it is. But anyway, a video was recommended to me today from Nightcap. And on this particular segment, it featured Bun B. Now, during this segment, they were reacting to the viral comments that everybody had talked about when LeBron said that, why is rings so important? It's weird and all of that stuff. Everybody reacted to it. But I hadn't heard Shannon touch on this issue right now. If you know anything about Shannon, he's a huge LeBron James supporter. He's a part of the coalition on television, or at least was a part of the coalition on television that was pumping out this nonsense of, oh, LeBron is a GOAT, LeBron is a GOAT. He was a part of that, right? He was one of the architects of that movement. So when I saw that they were going to be discussing this on Nightcap, I immediately thought to myself, well, Shannon, in typical Shannon Sharpe fashion, is going to find a way to come to the defense of LeBron James here. But boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. He did not defend him. And as I was listening to him talk, I was really sitting, I'm like, is a 3-time Super Bowl winner actually going to sit up here and try to support the notion that winning championships in your respective sport isn't important? I was like, no, we got to touch on this. So what we want to do now is we're going to play exactly what Shannon had to say on Nightcap in response to LeBron James's comments, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Shannon Sharpe here.
But I get what LeBron is trying to say, but that's what society, that's what social media, that's what we've done now. We've turned everything into a ring. If you don't have a championship, it's almost it. And at one point in time, it was like that with the Grammys, bud. Man, you ain't got no Grammy. Man, you ain't got no Grammy.
But sometimes what it takes to fuel you, though. Right? If you would have asked LeBron that prior to having a chip, he would have told you that's his motivation. That's his drive. That's what I want to be. I want to be placed on the mantle next to those other greats. Well, you have to look at what those other great people have achieved. You have to look at what their success is gauged by. You know what I'm saying? And who they played against, the level of competition. All of these things come into that. So, and you got chips. I don't know who he's arguing for in this. And
I think the thing is, Bud, if you look at LeBron, look at the guys that he idolized. What did they have? Jordan, rings. Magic, rings. Bird, rings. So those are 3 guys that we know he looked up to. What does all those guys have in common? Championships. There's a reason why he left, because he wanted a championship. He felt that the organization didn't have the wherewithal, or he didn't trust them to get the requisite pieces in Cleveland. So he went to Miami. You see, it's a big relief once you have something, because it's easy for the person that says, man, I'm going to take me some time. Well, yeah, Elon Musk can take a 6-month vacation. Jeff Bezos can take a 6-month vacation. But ask him when they were building their business, did they take a 6-month vacation? Okay, now LeBron, did you feel this way before you had championships or after you got them? And I agree with everything he's saying. I just believe this, Bun. When we're having a conversation and I got to put EST on it, you got to have championships. Now, I'm not saying you can't be great, because Charles Barkley, I'm old enough, you and I are old enough, because we remember a lot of these cats. I remember Charles Barkley. I remember Karl Malone. I remember Patrick Ewing. I remember some of these great players. But when I need to add EST, I just don't know how I can.
But you come from football.
I don't know how
you come from football. So
I think the thing is, Bun, is that, bro, You got more regular season points, more playoff points. You're the only guy. I mean, you're the only guy that's top in points, rebounds, and assists. I mean, no guy that has as many assists points as you got is even in the top 10. You're in the top 5 in assists. I mean, you got 40, 11, and 11. 40,000 points, 11,000 rebounds, 11,000 assists. I think the only guy that maybe even can approach that is Luka, and I don't think Luka's body's going to allow him to play that long. I just think and this is what he said. LeBron compared the way greatness is measured in other sports, noting athletes like Dan Marino, Barry Bonds are still celebrated regardless of their championship total. Yes, we still celebrate Barry.
So you heard what he had to say. Now, I also think it's important to say that Bun B actually was a little bit more forceful with his comments. Like, bro, this is like, come on, this is ridiculous. It's beneath you, whatever. But you heard what Shannon had to say there as it pertains to LeBron James there. Shannon was trying to understand why LeBron is saying this and understand whether or not he values championships. This is the operative question here. Does LeBron value championships? Because if he's saying that he doesn't, then all of his actions up until this point in his career, and 22 years in, would say otherwise, right? Your actions said and say that you really value championships, that you really think is important to pursue championships, given all the moves that you've been a part of and the super teams and blah, 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 blah. So he's trying to understand, is this guy saying is not important, or what is he trying to say? And Shannon, what I think he's trying to say is that given the fact he can't catch MJ, now all of a sudden it's not important, because LeBron knows one of the knocks that people have on him is Michael Jordan is 6-0 in the finals and he's 4-6. So not only does he have a better record of performing in the finals, he also has a better record overall. And he knows that that's a talking point that people use. Now, what surprises me in all of this, and Bun B kind of spoke to it a little bit, is why does this bother LeBron James? Apparently, it really means a lot to LeBron to be viewed as the greatest player of all time. I can't believe how much it bothers him. I don't think it bothers MJ that much in terms of, or he thinks about, oh, I'm the greatest player ever. I remember when Kobe retired, he's like, bro, I'm done with it, man. I'm not going to be sitting up here thinking about it. Like, so for him to really still be bothered by this and be thinking about this, the GOAT debate, because he thinks about it just as much as anybody talking about it. Right. Hence the reason his guys that is affiliated with his agency or whatever contact people in media when they say things that they feel is not correct in terms of the GOAT debate. Like, this is something that they really spend a lot of time and resources on. Right. That's the part that really surprises me. Beyond that, his comments, I think, are insane. And I think that anybody that has talked about this situation feels the same way. Now, you're going to have a few people out there that say, oh, no, well, you got to think about this in a nuanced way. Maybe LeBron. Nah, the vast majority of us thought that those comments were insane, right? Because it attacks the essence of sports, which is competition. And to hear that come from LeBron James, it wasn't a good look. For a top 10 player to be saying that was not a good look. These are my thoughts. Right. He made headlines again. As you guys know, he really made a lot of headway with NBA fans over the last few months with his commentary on how NBA players compete, the things that are going on in the NBA. Even some NBA players have taken exception to the fact that he's called out the way that they go about doing their business as a hockey player. I thought that was a load of crap, that they say, no, hockey players should talk about hockey. I'm like, man, stop that nonsense, bro. You got NFL players talking about the NBA all day long. Where's this thing of NBA players? Shouldn't like, come on, let's stop. You know, just say that you don't want Duke to be talking about it, but to say that you should stick to your sport, man, please. I've seen NBA players and NFL players sitting on a panel talking about basketball. Let's keep it. I mean, for goodness sake, the show Speak, who's on there? Paul Pierce and Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson ever played in the NBA? No, but he be talking about the NBA all the time, right? So why don't nobody say nothing about, hey, man, you go talk about football? Of course, like, let's stop. People try to play him like, let's stop. So a clip was sent to me by one of our viewers. He's like, check out this clip of PK on ESPN First Take, talking about this whole ring thing and ring culture and all that. I'm like, well, damn, I ain't see it. So he sent me the clip. I watched it and I looked all over the internet, but I couldn't find the full video. But he did send me a clip, for a reel rather, from ESPN's Instagram account. So in this clip, PK is going off once again. And he's out there doubling down why MJ and Kobe are the GOAT and not the GOAT, the greatest, and all of this stuff about not. He ripped into LeBron's comments, man. PK on his goon status, as he always is. What we want to do is want to play what PK had to say here, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to him here.
This is very easy for me, and this is why I don't put him ahead of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant for me. It's the approach to the game. And to me, in some ways, it can be insulting to look at it as chips don't matter, or why is it that other athletes aren't seen as other athletes? But the whole point of pro sports and team sports is to win. And is to win a championship. And that's your dream when it starts out, is to win. We don't want to change that. Like, there's no changing that. So when people talk about Kobe being here, and if he was here, he would say this, because the epitome of winning a championship is going through the grind. People want to see the grind. People want to see the struggle. And for LeBron, I'll always be a fan of his because he's an amazing athlete, an amazing basketball player. And he's going to go down as one of the greats. But to be an all-time great, to be the greatest, there's a certain way. How you win matters to me. Michael Jordan paying his dues, putting his time, not going somewhere else trying to win matters to me. Kobe Bryant doing the same. Larry Bird doing the same. Magic doing the same. Because I'm sorry, what we see in today's sports, our kids, as soon as there's a struggle, as soon as they don't get that success right away, they want to jump and go. I'm calling my agent. I need to go here. I need to go there. If you're the face of an organization, that team invested in you. At 18, they could have drafted anybody on the planet. They're investing in you to help them bring a championship to the city, right? It's bigger than just you. It's bigger than that. And
Look, folks, I said this yesterday on one of the shows that we did. PK's not hating. Okay, he's not hating. The fact of the matter is this, and I said it yesterday when we were reacting to that Brian Windhorst video. There are a lot of people that are fans of Kobe and MJ that have a totally different outlook on basketball and sports as a whole. And whenever we hear this type of commentary, we're obviously going to have a visceral reaction. We're always going to be diametrically opposed to these kind of views. So when you hear PK go out there and say what he said and the way that he said it, is because he represents a different mindset. And I think the problem is, if you don't adopt some of the things that, like, for instance, LeBron said, all of a sudden you're a hater. When in reality, I'm not hating, I'm disagreeing. Because you're telling me that you should be able to espouse this view, and if I don't agree with it, I'm hating on you? What kind of thing is that? No. A lot of us don't agree with it. We simply don't. I done seen and heard too many Kobe Bryant interviews where he spoke about his drive to win championships. I was just watching a clip today from Michael Jordan talking about he understood that the only way people would be able to take him seriously in the GOAT conversation, not the GOAT, to be recognized by his peers like Bird, Magic, and others, Kareem and others, was that he had to win. Winning was his central focus. Winning. This insatiable appetite for winning. Same thing with Kobe Bryant, driven to win. You've seen Kobe cry at the end of playoff games, cry at the end of series. That's how much it meant to him to win. So to hear now that, why do we place so much of an emphasis? I'm like, yo, bro, what are we talking about? And then to try to escape through and get away with it by saying, oh no, the reason we do that is because we're trying to diminish all these other players, when in reality, that's not what we're doing. Because we don't diminish those other guys, but we understand that there is a difference. There are levels. Because winning championships is literally the hardest thing to do in basketball. Literally. Kobe played 20 years. He did it 5 times. That means 15 other times he didn't do it. Jordan plays 15 years. He only did it 6 times. LeBron has been playing, 22 years? He did it 4 times. That should tell you something. So we're going to say that those people that went to the mountaintop and were able to stick the flag in the ground and say, I did it, that don't matter no more? What are we even talking about? And to me, again, I've said it in many shows, and I'm going to say it once more. This is attacking the essence of sports, which is competition. The goal is to win. And do you know who knows that? LeBron James knows that. LeBron James knows the importance of winning. So to have a player of his stature come out here and say these type of things is crazy. But I think that people like PK are necessary on networks like ESPN because they give you another point of view. That is why they are necessary. You need to hear different point of view. It just can't be your point of view and what you guys think and then turn sports media into one big echo chamber. It cannot be like that. Think about how many people get hyped up when PK goes out there and says, because he represents a lot of people. So you don't want any of those fans to be served. You just want one fan base to be served all day. Look, come on, that's ridiculous. That's not even sports conversation. It's not even a conversation. The conversation is when two people exchanging ideas. This ain't no conversation. This is just, we going to say this and you agree. And if you don't agree, you're going to be labeled as a hater. Come on, man. Come on. Too much. Like, enough is enough with it. You know, enough is enough with it. And look, I 100% support his comments, and I think he was right on the money. It was crazy talk, cuckoo talk.